I'd like to call the March 29, 2022 Board of Supervisors meeting to order. We'll have the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And at this time, we ask Reverend Smith to pray.
Heavenly Father, we thank you so much for this meeting. Thank you for the leaders on the board, but also in the community that have come forth and let us make decisions that will better the county, but most of all enhance your kingdom. In your mighty name we pray. Amen.
Amen. You may be seated. Okay, budget time. And the first is Commissioner of Revenue, Mrs. Savoy. And that gentleman is on page 18.
Glenn, you gonna give me PC too?
And let me say this too, Jason Bellows is gonna be absent today, so he won't be here today, so, all right. Sorry. Okay,
Okay. Good evening. My budget is pretty straightforward. I'm only asking for additional $3,000 in one category, which is our other professional services. And that's because J.D. Powell, who does my valuations for vehicles, has increased their rates.
okay. All right, any questions, gentlemen?
Next.
Okay? Okay?
Thank you.
All right, I have one other matter of information for the board is that over the last 2 years, values have increased because of the COVID-19 pandemic. Last year, values increased on an average of 10%. This year, we are seeing values going up by greater than 20%, and some models as much as 40%. Because of the increase in values, the PPTRA, which is the Personal Property Tax Relief Act, percentage is going to drop, thereby creating a higher tax for a great number of taxpayers on a vehicle that is 1 year older and higher mileage. And the increases are not just geared to newer models, but older models as well. I did a short spreadsheet about approximately 20 vehicles showing what the tax was and the value for 2020, 2021, and the proposed tax using the $2.04 for 2022. So I do have copies that you can look at, and if you have any questions, I'll be glad to answer, or my door is open if you want to stop by the office anytime.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay.
No,
You did? Okay, good.
no comment.
Okay.
Any questions?
I'm glad you got my wife's call on now.
No comment.
Okay, all right. And we might be talking to you later.
Okay,
I'll call you
that's
back
fine.
or something and ask
If
you
you
some
have
questions.
anything further, just
right.
let me know.
Okay.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. All right, we don't have Mr. McCraney here, so we go on to the.
No, he's virtual.
Oh, I'm sorry.
His
Remind me of that.
Yeah.
All right.
Did you all want to try to come to any consensus on any of these as we move along, or
I
how do
was
you
thinking
wanna
about
handle
at the end, we'll come back and
Okay.
run through them. Yeah, after we go through them, yeah. Is he on? All right, Mr. McCraney?
Yes, sir. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Good afternoon from sunny Pensacola, Florida. I'm sitting on a park bench in historic district Pensacola. So,
Okay.
Budget denied.
well, Mr. Chairman, members of the board, thank you for giving me this opportunity. And I think the first part, you can see the stats for 2021 and how hard our men and women from the sheriff's office work. So I just wanted to kind of give you all a synopsis of everything that our men and women have done. The first line item is line item 1100, and that's salaries and wages. Of course, the General Assembly right now has adjourned, and I think they're going to come back in special session very soon. So we don't know, but right now the proposal for the comp board position for a deputy sheriff is going to go to 42,000 is what we're seeing right now. The comp board rate for a deputy is 35,000 without a supplement from the localities. So with that, we're hoping that that will be raised to 42. And as you can see in my talking points, most of the local agencies are already at 42. I think that Northumberland is going to shoot for 44, but they're kind of in the same boat. They don't know. I know our starting dispatcher pay has gone up to 34, which is great, and I certainly appreciate that. And I also understand that you know, the salaries possibly may be a 10% pay raise, and if that's the case, we certainly appreciate that. That is very much appreciated. So thank you all for proposing that. Line item 1300, which is part-time. I will have to say that with Tony Spencer being our Commonwealth's attorney, our court days and our jury trials have increased greatly. I mean, quite a bit. We have a lot more jury trials, and as right now, I think that we have several jury trials coming up before June. I know that I put in that we have 2 full-time cooks and we did not have a part-time, but that has changed now. We do have a part-time cook, which will allow our full-time cooks to take a vacation from time to time. I understand that Miss Savoy, who's our senior cook, is possibly going to retire in the next maybe year and a half, but we do have her daughter who's working part-time now. So she's learning the ropes from her mother, which is a great thing. So once Jackie retires, her daughter will be able to go ahead and fill it and know what to do right away. Line item 5699. Unfortunately, the academy dues has increased by 20% due to decreased funding by the state. There is a proposal to increase the funding, but as we know right now, the outcome is unknown from the General Assembly, so I have no idea what's going to happen with that line item. Line item 6008, the fuel prices are increasing. None of us know what that's going to be. I wish I could tell you. I know that I asked for a $10,000 increase with a question mark, but I don't even know if that's going to cover it. That's the great unknown. Line item 8205, the cars, I just asked for a modest increase to the increase to cost of vehicles. Line item 8207. I know that we spoke to Glenn Rowe about this as well, but Advanced Networks has advised us that we may need to increase our security for our firewalls. They suggested the increase for our firewall security would be approximately $900 per month. And that would be about $11,000 per year. And there has been an increase of regular licensing fees as well. And I know that's very expensive. I'm not a computer guru. I'm just going by what we were told. The jail account, 33100. Line item 3110. Our jail nurse hours increased quite a bit due to COVID protocols put in place so it did not spread to our inmate population. And I can say as of now, none of our inmates have tested positive for COVID, though it did spread amongst our staff, including me, this last variant. It spread fairly quickly. But thank goodness it did not spread amongst our inmates. And right now, we're averaging 30 inmates per day, sometimes over. When I left last week, we had 33 inmates in jail. And unfortunately, some of these inmates are sick mentally. Many are sick physically And we have had a discussion with Carol Throckmorton, who we deal with at Main Street Pharmacy, and we're going to try to create some type of protocols to decrease our prescription cost. And I think we're going to make that happen. I know that, Don, you know that Anthem, and we couldn't get a direct answer from Anthem, but they charged us 2 months out of 3 or 4, an ungodly price. So they did say that they were going to credit us, and hopefully we won't have to pay Anthem for quite some time with the amount of money we had to pay them. Line item 3310, the maintenance of the jail has been a huge concern. And as you all know, we've had several issues that had to be addressed, which were not budgeted. And some issues that still have to be resolved. One, the detective office, the heat pump had to be replaced. That had a lot of mold. We had to do put the new unit in and also do a lot of mold remediation. The dryer in the jail had to be replaced, and unfortunately, we had to call in a welder. 3 doors had to be taken down, and then they had to be reinstalled after the dryer got in there, which was a fairly significant cost. We're in the process of replacing some of the electrical issues in the jail, so that we do not have a repeat of a deputy getting attacked by the old wiring again. And we are asking for a 20% increase to fix these issues. Line item 6002, and unfortunately that's tied with the fuel cost, and that's the food cost. And as I said, our inmate population is up, and we spoke to our food management vendor, who has recommended an increased budget of 20% due to food price increases. And I think that is it, and I know that is a lot, and I certainly appreciate everybody's support over the years. Does anybody have any questions?
Any questions? No questions? All right.
All right, well, thank you all so much, and it's been a great time here in Pensacola, and great weather. I'm sorry it's colder in Virginia.
Thanks for rubbing it in.
Well, I got burned really bad, Mr. Palin, yesterday, so I'm fighting a...
All right, enjoy yourself. All right, thank you. All right. Gentlemen, I was thinking, county administrator asked, did we want to also come to a consensus as this is
Yeah, because
being...
I've forgotten the first one already.
I was thinking about that because a lot of information is being given out. All right, so let's back up. Thank you, sir. Let's back up to the Commissioner of Revenue.
Can we hear that again, that speech?
All right. As far as I'm concerned, I think we can fund what she's requesting. Do we have a consensus on that?
Yeah, no problem.
Okay, no problem. All right, and what about the sheriff's office here? He's to me, he's justifying his increases for repairs, maintenance, and food costs and all of that, and gas prices, all right? So,
I think what you're looking at too is everything below the salaries and fringe line.
right,
Yeah, yeah.
because the salaries,
Side of that.
Yeah.
So mainly just everything below the salary
Right.
fringes, if you all.
20% in food sounds high, but is that normal?
well, in
well,
today's
I
market,
know when I go, it's
With
that
the,
high.
with the increased population in the jail right now,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, yeah,
Yep.
it's justified.
yeah. All right, do we have a consensus on approving what he's requested?
Yeah, just as long as we understand, this doesn't include the salaries.
Right,
because-
right, because that can change.
Yeah,
We're
you all
expecting that
haven't
to
decided
change, yeah, we're expecting that to change.
Yeah,
Okay.
we're not paying for his trip down there.
No. No. All right, have we got a consensus here?
The computer costs seem like a hefty increase, but he sort of justified it, so I think I'm all right with that.
Okay.
So,
All right, so got your consensus. All right, Mr. Smith?
Yep, what?
Okay,
I'm good.
good, all right. Okay, building official inspector, Mr. Cantor, and that's page 33.
Good afternoon, Board.
Good afternoon.
Hello. All right, so I guess as go down through just the couple items that we've requested some increased here. Sorry. There's the words. Okay, so line item 5540 is for education and conferences. I've requested that from 2,000 to 8,000. There's several professional conferences throughout the year that with our organizational trade groups that we're in have a lot of continuing education, a lot of industry classes, a lot of the different things that we need to maintain our certifications. So in order for us to travel and go to those, I'm requesting that increase. There are oftentimes some scholarships that are available through the different organizations, and of course, we'll always apply for them to try to offset these costs, but oftentimes they'll cover almost all of the cost if we can get them. So that's that one.
Let me ask you a question about that.
Yes, sir.
Is the lodging, travel, all that included in that?
Yes. Yeah,
And
I've
that-
tried to allow enough to cover for that, yes. Yeah, often these conferences include the, 2 meals and things of that nature, and they'll have reduced lodging for they'll do like a block at the hotel, so we'll have a reduced lodging rate for that.
In prior years, did you have less people going? Is that part of the increase change, or it's a big jump, so I was just trying to piece it together?
I don't know what their participation was in the past. I've only been here since August, but I know that we're trying to maintain one of either Brett, the building inspector, or myself here for the longer conferences, like 2-3 days, only one of us might go. And then for the shorter day-long periods, we might both attend and notify industry. I'm just basing it on what I'm trying to forecast into the future. And that's not going to every single conference there is. It's just the ability to go to some of the more major ones that we can take the best advantage of.
From my perspective, I think I'm right, Mr. Gill, you correct me if I'm wrong. I think it's going to probably increase over what has been done in the past, but the changes that I've seen that's being made now for the positives, I think they need to.
Okay.
All right.
Good. Thank you for the info.
Sure, absolutely. All right, next line item is 5810, dues and memberships. Those go along with those professional organizations. There is one of the organizations that's raising it like $5 or $10 this year, but other than that, it's just to cover the minimum dues for the two of us to be able to participate. Okay. Line item 6011, uniforms, we're increasing that 400 to 1,020. We're trying to have shirts enough to wear throughout the week, every day, so that when we show up on a job, they can identify us as Lancaster County officials or personnel. We're also, I'm asking for an increase to cover our boot allowance, because we do try to wear safety boots on site, prevent injury and things of that nature. Just one pair and it's just $150. We decided we get something more expensive, we'll cover the cost on that. And then a jacket, just for the colder months, it's nice to have a good jacket to keep us warm. So that's what that is.
That's 2 people, right?
That's 2 people, yes, sir. And then EDP 8207 line item, request an increase for that, kind of along with one of our capital improvement requests. We're looking to purchase some new, I think, tablets with keyboards to give us some in-the-field capabilities that we currently do not have. Right now, we're operating on printing off the paperwork in the morning, taking it with us, and then coming back in the afternoon. So we're hoping to be able to gain some efficiencies in time and be able to do that out in the field, so we can actually get to a few more inspections every day and be able to also look up some records and things that we need out in the field. Save us a lot of time. So that's what that budget request is for.
Okay, any questions?
What's,
I guess, what, after looking at these for the last 8-10 years and not seeing, the increases in conferences and the uniforms, that's kind of trying to throw you a little bit, And certainly, I don't have no problem with it. especially 8207. I think that should have been done probably years ago. And I guess the uniform thing is the one that just bothered me a little bit, you know. So, but I know it's important when you drive up on a site that your people can identify who you are. And that's enough for 2 people for a week. And that's no laundry bills or nothing like that.
No.
No, we do our own laundry.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
there's services that run around, you know.
Just getting them shirts that have the county seal on it so that, you know, people know they're county officials.
Why don't we have shirts like that?
You get one a year, you just haven't gotten it yet.
Okay. So tell me about your EDP equipment.
Okay.
Is this just a computer, or is it also software that allows you to do special things for your job?
It kind of ties in with this capital budget.
Let me jump in,
Go ahead.
Jim, real quick. You all, the planning commission, since you met last, the planning commission forwarded the capital improvement budget to you all after their public hearing on March 17th. You have a hard copy of that in front of you. If you will flip to the building department tab, there are a couple of items in the capital improvement budget that Jim can speak to. And I'll pull them up here. And one of them is this building and planning department software, and that's an incorrect number right now. That should be that. So, all right, Jim, I'm sorry.
That's fine. So if the capital improvement request is funded, that will allow us to replace our current permitting, inspection software. Basically, everything from the time that they submit a permit application to submitting plans to us approving plans, issuing permits, recording inspection results, and issuing occupancy permits. That whole system is what we've proposed for an upgrade here. This computer equipment would go with that program to allow us to be able to go out in the field, pull up our inspections, pull up the approved plans, pull up any related information, site information. We'll be able to have that all at hand while we're out in the field.
Okay.
So I'm hoping that we can get tablets that have the capability where we connect to a hotspot on our phone to be able to have that in-the-field capability that we currently do not have.
And then you will also be able to contact or send stuff to the contractor or whatever right on the spot.
That's correct. As we would finish out an inspection, we would enter the results, hit the button, we could attach photographs or anything else with this. And as soon as we're done and hit enter, the contractor automatically get an email with an update of the status of their inspection.
And follow your March Madness bracket? And do a lot of things with it. I'm okay with it.
Jim, I like what I'm hearing and what I've been seeing from this department. I think it's improving this department, making it more professional and more up to date.
Well, the way we currently operate, you know, the Bright system, the AS400, the system that's very old is what we're using. I mean, these guys in the morning are actually coming in, listening to voice messages on an answering machine, writing down the inspections, you know, taking about an hour and a half in the morning to get all that straight, mapping out the best route to proceed, and then going out and doing the inspections. This new software is gonna have all of that, you know, done for them, so they won't waste time in the morning doing that. So it's just moving into the 21st century, I guess, with building and planning software.
Don, you're saying in the detail in the capital budget, it references 75. Is that not correct?
That is not correct, because when I put the first version together, we had only had one presentation from a potential software vendor. That was 75,000, so that's why we used that number.
Okay.
Since that time, we've had 2 additional presentations, and the one that we have settled on is actually right at 20,000.
20,000.
Good. Thank you.
Thank you, Don.
And Jim, while you're here, another item in the capital improvement budget is the boiler replacement in this building. Speak to that if you would while you're here.
Yeah, the current boilers are approximately 40 years old, near as we can tell. Both of them were inoperable last fall as we were coming into heating season. We spent not a lot, but a fair amount of money to get them back up and operational to get through this summer or winter. The proposal is to conduct a study to figure out the best systems, looking into the future with energy costs and things of that nature, to replace these with, and then ultimately to make that replacement. So that's what that budget request is for. I don't really necessarily want to put back exactly what's there because I think there's more energy efficient options that are available now that we want to look into.
And we estimating that at 60,000.
Yes, sir.
And the current ones are how old, 40-something?
They're 40, 44 years old, somewhere in that neighborhood.
And that
Not
cost,
that old.
that cost covers studying it plus replacing.
That's our expectation, yes, sir.
Okay.
Okay.
We gotta keep you guys warm. That's important. We can't work cold.
All right, gentlemen, all right, with what he's presenting here in his justification, I have a consensus. I'm gonna give my support on approving the budget as it is. What's your consensus?
I'm okay with it.
Okay, Mr. Smith?
Yeah.
All right. All right. Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you, General.
All right. Free, let's see, Free Health Clinic. Ms. Nelson, there we go. That's page set 37.
Jeannie, I did not take you up on your invitation. And the reason why
We
is
had
because
time.
when
We
I
had
start
time.
drinking wine, I'll agree to anything. So, good to see you.
Good to see you both. Welcome to the new faces up here, not that I don't know you, and thank you all again for your leadership. You know, you don't run a nonprofit or run a county without understanding there's a lot of complexities every day and that every side is to be appreciated. So thank you for y'all's commitment. I would also like to thank Mary Kay Rover, John Wilson, Vicki Kinsel, Bill Arnold, and Paige Henley, board members, as well as Dr. Lockhart as well, Greg Lockhart as well. Just for a couple history lessons, this clinic is going in this October into its 30th year. Who would have known? The history of this was that the state and the county actually did the care for the people who weren't able to afford health care. And in the early 90s, they mandated the care into Medicaid. During that time, Virginia was number 47th in giving the least to the indigent population. And so as in benefits, we were rated 47th, not a very good rate. In 2019, they increased it after about 2 years to 138% of the FPL. In recent studies with the UVA, what does it take to afford health care in Virginia, it's at 400% of the FPL is what it takes to be able to afford it. So as we move forward, you know, what I always find is, you know, I think there's a lot of hope that goes into running a nonprofit, but also there is a lot of commitment of community to make it work. And the hope, when I talk about the hope, it's that there are, our fundraising, you all have a spreadsheet on how we fundraise. It is the wheel of fundraising with all the components of how we need each component to move forward. And for the counties, what we have done is that we take 25% of our budget, go to each county according to their population that we serve, and use that calculation, and that's how we come up with our request. The free health clinics from the first one was in 1972 in Virginia. In 1993, when we were formed, there were only like 11 free health clinics. Now there's 60 and in the state of Virginia. And every model is different. Every clinic community defines its own. And we have been very committed in really being a safety net because people come sometimes in and out of our health care. They need it, then they're insured. 3 years later, they're not. So some are here from the beginning and have been there for 30 years. And so there's a different group that, you know, that continues to come in and out, and what is of the clinic. And I think what I'm always surprised about is the capability of what the community can do. You know, one thing I would like to stop really quick and thank Don Gill. Don Gill really helped move our phone system through. He made some phone calls. What we had a new phone system after 25 years of not having a new phone system. We did get funding for one, and we moved it through. And after a month, I called it the whack-a-mole phone system. You'd pick up one phone and you couldn't answer it again. And after talking to my board, Bill Lee and Mary Kay Roderick, a lot of people, and Don Gill was pulled in. And I just want you to know, last week, just to give you an idea, we had over 1,600 calls. So the phone system's working really well. And it gives you an idea of what it does take within a week to move forward at our clinic. So I want to give you some quick overview. Last year, we were fortunate, you know, the COVID money, state money did come forward. You know, I have to say, I think of Butch Jenkins, who used to bring it to the plate each time when the county was stepping up and the state was not even on the budget, how he advocated for it. At that point, I was on the board of the state association, and we did go after the state. So Butch actually at that point was very much of an advocate of helping to push that through, and that the state has come forward and helping with the uninsured. They don't help with the underinsured. And just to give you an idea, in a value of services, Medicaid will pay up to 20% basically is of the value of service. So it's extremely low, and that's why sometimes it's challenging to get into the to get people to accept Medicaid. So there's a lot of complexities that happen, and since we're a gap filler and we are moving forward trying to fill the gap as people come in and out. They also, as soon as it's okayed by the feds, there will be a reevaluation, because during Medicaid, there was a 2-year hold off on not really checking income. And in a recent article, they expect possibly 17 million to come out of Medicaid and go back into the uninsured, because they will start, after the pandemic and the endemic, they're moving forward and they're going to be doing a closer check on Medicaid. So there's still a lot of unfolding that we have to do in our health care. In our medical, you know, we've been looking for a provider going on for 2.5 years. We do have a full-time provider, and we're pretty maxed out with that person. We have volunteers coming back to the clinic, which is very helpful. But we're in still great need of being able to, we've been looking for 3 years. We did a national search, but it's been very challenging. I don't understand why people don't see this place a wonderful place to live for a long time. But luckily, we are smart enough to know that that's the right place to be. So in our pharmacy, we did negotiate with the state to be able to purchase through the state, but we also have like 7 other places that we work. We work with a group in the Midwest and other nonprofits to be able to get bulk medicines for free. And we have Merck, Pfizer, I know you know those names. They actually come in and do an on-site audit of our screening process, as well as our pharmaceutical pharmacy operation. So there's a lot of oversight on that. In our dental, this has been a very challenging. The students from VCU come for 10 months. They you know, man the clinic with our staff dentists. And during the COVID time, they pulled their students back. It was a total of 16 months. And we were backed up within the first 2.5 months, about 700 patient visits. So very complicated trying to move that forward. And so we are now with the rotation back, and the students are back. But during that time, we hired dentists. We were able to get a dentist to come for 1 day from Williamsburg one from DC that came 2 days, and 2 other dentists that came from Richmond for a day apiece to help move the care forward. So that helped us move it forward, and when the students started, we're starting to catch up. However, we're getting probably about 50 to 60 patients on dental on once a month, mainly because they just added dental to Medicaid, and so those benefits had not been available to the Medicaid folks. I will answer any question, but I'm going to pass it over to Dr. Lockhart. I'm getting pretty comfortable, and when I get comfortable, it's always good to get the cane and pull me back, but, Dr. Lockhart.
Thanks. I don't serve a purpose in identifying economic specific needs. My purpose to talk to you is, as I have for the last couple of years, is to reemphasize what our needs are in fulfilling our mission to the community. This past 2 years have been hell, frankly. But as part of going through hell, we have had opportunities to do things that we seized, and we, for example, the providing of vaccines for the COVID outbreak was left to us for a long period of time, and we were the sole provider for probably 4 months until other people figured out ways to do that. And then we maintained that role primarily for the uninsured and the underinsured, but for the whole community, because we were one of the few resources for vaccines. The other piece of this, and I keep reminding myself, is that we remain the bulwark against which everything bounces. When somebody loses their health insurance, they don't have any place to go, they come to us. And that has required a lot of ingenuity in how to utilize our resources. It's required using the contributions of all of our investors and our friends in the community to maximize those resources to provide the best care we can. Jeannie talked about finding providers. That is brutal. To get a doctor to come, or a nurse to come, or a dentist to come to Kilmarnock is, it's hard. And so, but the job doesn't go away. If we're short, or we have, our medical director went on vacation, and God knows he needs to go on a vacation, but in order to fill up that space, we have to find and buy people to come and take his place, because there's no let up. So we have 2 needs. One is economic, which puts us in a position to be flexible and to be innovative and to try and maintain what we view as a mission to serve people. But we have to have money. We also have to have people, and they kind of go together hand in hand. And we're in a tough spot right now, frankly. Our medical director is 77 years old. We need people to come, and oftentimes we have to go to a locums company and say, we got nothing. Who can you provide us with? And I say, we can provide you with people, but it's going to be a cost, because they're not giving us any benefit. So I feel like I'm rambling, and I feel like I'm not being, I wish I worked for the buildings commissioner or the building inspector. He had it all down, special, but I don't. We've been flat as far as our requests for the past 3 years, and we've been really grateful for what we've gotten. The pressure continues to mount on providing the kind of care to growing numbers of people. Since COVID's gone away, our daily visits have gone up by 30%. And it's going to continue, because, there's a lot of people who just don't have health care. And so we need to be in a position to provide that for them. And that, I'm sorry for rambling, but I'm pretty committed to this.
All right. Okay. Any questions?
So you see 40 to 50 a month for dental.
That was new patients.
New patients. What is your?
In a week, we'll have about 400 people go through the clinic and be pharmacy, dental, or medical.
Oh, wow, okay.
All right. And how's your fundraising going?
This has been a tough year, businesses have been, it's complicated, our special event has been complicated, and non-existent. So, this is even individuals it's been tough. Once again, we'll be pushing out on every layer of churches, community organizations, all of those functions, the Rotary and the Kiwanis do events in order to be able to help support the communities, and they've been very part, but everything's been limited. So the last few years have been very challenging. We've made it, with the struggle.
Okay. Okay, good.
Sorry, we can't help you. We're gonna be.
All right. That's what I want to hear.
Yeah.
That's what I want to hear.
We
Yeah.
are,
All right.
no,
Yeah.
we are gonna be needed a long time, and
And what about your volunteers?
they're coming back.
Okay,
I mean,
good.
it's been a while, but they're coming back. So, actually, I had a doctor call yesterday, has a home down here now, and is interested in possibly volunteering. And, we had a couple nurses call, so we're very excited. I'm down 4 staff members, so right now, and they left during the COVID time. They were fearful, and they left, but we never closed down a day, and the rest of the team tripled their workload, triple. I mean, they were answering a COVID phone, the regular phone, and the front door phone. There were 3 phones that they were literally, they could juggle the phones like an expert, and they were meeting people at the door, delivering prescriptions to the cars. Those staff never complained one day, and were there every day and willing to work overtime. There was a report that took over 100 hours to complete, and they were there every weekend for a full month, working 8 to 9 hours a day to make it happen. So,
Okay. All right.
I think
Pretty
one of the
impressive.
things we want to remember up here is the part of the community that's being served. I've never been in a position where I didn't have insurance. I can't relate to that too much because I never was in that position. I've been blessed always, my family, everybody's been blessed. But so we need to understand that the county needs to be a part of helping serve the people who are uninsured for one thing, but then the ones that's underinsured. So I think the county always need to be involved in helping to get these people, health and dental and all the other things that they need. And this facility, we blessed to have it here in Lancaster County.
I agree. Yeah. All right, gentlemen, any questions, comments?
I don't have any questions.
All right, what's your item? What's your?
Yeah, I was, this is not, we've not voting on anything, but we've been flat with this, and I don't know how many years this goes back, Don.
Yeah, I don't know without looking, but I would say at least 4.
Yeah, so I would, I'm in favor of doing the 135.
The 135? All right. I'll go along with that.
I have a feeling I'm gonna be in favor of all of them, at this rate. I mean, they're looking right at me, so I can't really say no.
You'll learn how to say no later.
Yeah, I'm in favor of it, yes.
Okay. Mr. Geese?
I definitely think
That's a
with,
good thing.
if it's been 4 years since they've had an increase and what we've been through in those 4 years, certainly seems like to me it's probably justified.
Okay.
I think.
Jeannie, we have a retired dentist that's moving here, a young dentist, and he will probably work when
Can I get the
fishing
name?
isn't good. So on a day that fishing it's not a good day for fishing, he may work, so I'll talk to you.
Could I make one last comment? One of your patients, gentleman had paid for his dentures, right? They're valued at $3,500, and we help them, and they pay $330. Because of COVID, he was put off. The back list was very long. There was all this ruckus or laughter or happiness, and I thought, I'm going out to get some of that. So I went out to the front part of the clinic to see what was going on. And there was a man, and they said, Mr. So-and-so just got his teeth, and he had this beautiful smile. And everybody was like, so thankful, and the really, the staff embraces it. And what was so powerful to me was his wife, who was only about, a foot and a half shorter than he. She was behind him crying. He hadn't been able to enjoy food like he needed to build his body and nutrition. So those images, hard to, you can just visualize it. But those are the things that keep staff pushing through some of their tough days, are the people and the changes they can make. So thank you all very much.
And looking at this, what we have come to a consensus about, we haven't voted on it yet, because it could change. All right, of the 135, I think in reading in your notes, that you said that you serve 33% of Lancaster County, or 30% of the people you serve is Lancaster County. So that brings that up to a 135 share of what the cost is. All right, so, okay, so we're now paying our full share, all right?
I appreciate that.
All right.
It raises the bars in other counties, I will tell you.
Okay, all right.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you
Thanks
for
so much.
what you, all of you, what you do for Lancaster County, the people of Lancaster
And the
County.
leadership.
Yep,
Without you,
yeah,
it just gives us impetus to keep going.
yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Okay, the next one is Ms. Jaco. She's virtual. That's page 38. Ms. Jaco, you there? Ms. Jaco, you there? She there? Is she there?
Yes, are you able to hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, great, thank you.
Okay.
And thank you for allowing me to do this virtually.
How's Paul?
He is doing great. He's retired and loving life.
Tell him I said hi. Okay.
I will definitely do that.
Okay.
Well, I want to thank you on behalf of the Havens Board of Directors for the support over the past year. We, like all the nonprofits that I'm sure you're hearing from, have really struggled, or I don't know if it's so much struggled, but just had to rise to the occasion to take care of victims of intimate partner and sexual violence in your community and the other 4 counties that we serve. We've really struggled to assist folks because the calls that we are getting are from people who are experiencing more serious assaults. We are hearing from folks who are experiencing more strangulation, more gun threats. And so these are people who are in imminent danger. And we are doing our best to shelter folks, give them a safe place to go, and provide all the services that they need in order to build safe lives for themselves and their children. One of the big problems that we're facing right now is a shortage of affordable housing. So when we bring people into the shelter, they're there for quite a while because they are struggling to find housing that they can afford. And some of them are making the choice to return to abusive relationships because that's the only choice they have. So right now we are working very hard with the Bay Aging and the Department of Housing and Community Development to try to find some relief for those issues so that we can move people on into safe housing and provide support for others. So it has been a rough couple of years, and we hope to see the light at the end of the tunnel soon. We are requesting level funding, and we hope that all of the counties will support the work that we're doing throughout the Northern Neck and Essex County. I don't know if you have any questions for me at this point, or if there's anything in my request that you had questions about.
Any questions? Any questions? No, we don't have any questions. And let me say thank you for what you're doing as well. And also for the women that needs the help in that area. Thank you very much for that. And let me say
Well,
this.
let me just add one thing. They are women that we're assisting, but we are also assisting men who are victims of domestic violence. So I want everybody to know that we're serving anybody that is a victim.
I was wondering about that. I know some women batter their men. All right. I'm kidding, but I was wondering about that. Okay, that's good.
Unfortunately.
All right. And we always like to hear the balance, no increase in requests.
Right.
All right. Thank you very
All right.
much. All right. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
All right. I'm in a jovial mode. Y'all mode, I can tell it. All right. Legal aids work, pronounce your last name. She's, no, I thought that was one of those ladies, but she's virtual.
She's virtual, yeah.
All right.
Did you all want to make a consensus on the Haven?
Oh,
plan?
yeah.
I'm good with Haven.
All right, me too. All right, sorry, that's a consensus on that. Is it Glockner?
And Klockner, I
Klockner.
believe.
Miss Klockner?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Did I
Can you
pronounce
hear
that
me?
right?
You were really close.
Okay.
That's why everyone calls me Ann. It's a pleasure to speak with you tonight. And again, like my good friend Ellen from the Haven, I really appreciate the opportunity to participate remotely. I'm getting over surgery, so this has been really helpful for me to be able to be here tonight without having to come in person. So thank you. I'm the executive director at Legal Aid Works. We've been serving your Lancaster County constituents since 1979. I want to thank you not only for this opportunity to speak to you, but I want to thank you for the previous support you showed us. We have not been able to convince you to fund us for the last 4 years, but we are asking to be returned to the previous level of funding that we had enjoyed before fiscal year 2019, and that is $5,600. We understand all too well the tough choices you need to make to balance a county budget, because we do that with our nonprofit as well. We have a one-attorney office in Tappahannock that covers 7 counties, including Lancaster. We represent low-income people who need an attorney in civil legal matters. So we represent the victims of domestic violence who are served so well by the Haven. We help people obtain unemployment benefits. We help people with landlord, tenant, and foreclosure matters. We're the only agency providing this service. In your county, there are 1,561 eligible low-income persons who could qualify for our services. Even though we're an outside agency, we behave like an inside agency by helping county governments in 3 important ways. We take the strain off your social services safety net by lifting clients out of poverty with enforceable court orders of child and spousal support, as well as unemployment benefits that the clients would not otherwise have won without our legal intervention. We help the county court system run efficiently by helping those who can't afford an attorney. And we all know that people who represent themselves can slow the system down considerably. And finally, we assist local law enforcement agencies by securing enforceable civil protective orders for domestic violence survivors. When you support us, you allow us to do this work for your citizens. In the last fiscal year, 36 of your residents were assisted by that one attorney in our office in Tappahannock, including several critical domestic violence cases. When you are looking at the entire 3 offices of our organization that covers 17 counties, we have obtained over $2 million for our clients last year throughout those 17 counties. In the last 4 years, we have not been able to convince you to return to funding us, but by reinstating that support, you are supporting not just our agency, but your police force, your court system, your social services agencies. Your low-income constituents rely on us, and the Lancaster County support we've received in the past have made this community safer and more stable for everyone, not just our low-income neighbors. We work well with the free clinic because we have a paralegal who helps people apply for Social Security disability. And the free clinic has in the past allowed us to use one of their meeting rooms so that we can meet confidentially with our clients down in the Kilmarnock region. We also work very well with the Haven. So when you support all of these organizations, we all work and coordinate and support each other's work in a real synergy that makes it more effective for all of us. We run a tight and responsible fiscal ship. We are good at making do with a little bit that goes a long way. In the midst of the pandemic, when sheltering in place is one of the major features in the health department's guide to curbing the spread of the virus, your county really has needed the help of our dedicated staff to prevent unlawful evictions or foreclosures, to secure the appropriate public benefits for low-income residents, and to protect them from abuse. So I just would ask that you consider supporting our agency so you can truly support justice for all. It's the Pledge of Allegiance that you start your meetings with, that last 3 words of the Pledge of Allegiance. When you pledge that allegiance to the idea of justice for all, you can do that by supporting our agency.
Are you a
Thank
lawyer?
you.
Are you a lawyer?
I am.
I can tell. All right.
What tipped you off?
Now, let me ask you a question.
Sure.
If we restore this amount, would you all come back next year for an increase?
No.
Okay.
We have kept that amount the same for a long time. We recognize that county governments don't have unlimited abilities to keep increasing money that they give to people. And so we try to deal with increases in our expenses in other ways. We're very aggressive in our fundraising. We're very much interested in finding many different ways to fund our resources and our agencies, but we really appreciate the partnership with local government because we see that connection so clearly to your mission and what you do every day. And that's why we want to plug in and make sure that you know that when you provide good constituent services to the people you represent, part of that is letting them know that we exist and that we're happy to provide for your constituents.
Okay. Any questions?
No, I'd just like to say that, I think in my opinion, we take it under consideration in moving forward so we can, get the overall gravity of the budget.
Okay. That's a good idea. Yeah. All right, I agree with what Ms. Bill Lee said.
I got a couple questions.
Okay, yes.
And in your packet that we have online, you have a schedule that shows for 5 years some funds that were raised. I'm not sure, in looking at that, is that just for Lancaster County, or can you explain that a little bit to me?
For the last 5 years,
Yes.
that is for the entire organization.
For the entire, okay. Thank you.
Okay.
You're welcome.
Okay, so Mr. Lee suggested that we take this under consideration and then come back toward the end when we see the overall budget, how it's affected.
I'm good with that.
You good with that? All right, Mr. Smith?
I'm in favor of her, but I will take it under consideration.
Okay, all right, good. That don't mean we're gonna cut it out, but,
No,
uh-huh.
but I wanted to let her know.
Oh, okay, all right,
Mr.
okay.
Bailey,
Yes,
can I ask one more question?
yes, sir.
And one more question, and I'm sorry, I'm the new guy, so I'm trying to learn some things.
No worries.
Do you all work in close conjunction with the, I assume you do, but in close conjunction with the Commonwealth's Attorney's Office? And how does that process work if you do?
Yeah, it's interesting. We do. So the short answer is yes. And here's how we overlap, and not quite overlap, but I would say complement each other. They cannot go into civil court. They only deal with criminal court. We only go into civil court, and we don't go into criminal court. But let me give you an example. If a spouse is being battered by her spouse, there's a criminal charge perhaps, let's say assault and battery. That is what the Commonwealth's attorney will prosecute. But that will not necessarily give her a protective order. That's a civil case. So we will often go into court to get the civil protective order that allows a stay-away order saying you can't come by the house, things like that. And then the Commonwealth's attorney will pursue the criminal charge. So it's kind of a coordinated effort in one respect, even though they are two separate court systems. The civil court has a lower threshold. It's just by a preponderance of the evidence that we have to prove our case. And in the criminal court, they have to be beyond a reasonable doubt. That's a higher standard. So once the criminal court has ruled on the assault and battery, then we come in and ask for the protective order. So that's how we coordinate and how we work together.
Thank you. That clears it up very well.
Okay. How's your fundraising been going?
It's been interesting. We have an annual fundraiser called Jazz for Justice, and the fundraising on that event has been lower because we've had to be virtual for the last 2 years. And so it's been a little bit down in terms of that, but we have tried to increase the number of people who donate to us, and we've been trying to do more online solicitation of donations. So I would say over the last 2 years, it's either been just a little bit under what we're used to, or just barely keeping up with previous years. So it's been a struggle for sure.
Okay, thank you. All right, any
Thank
other
you.
comments?
Last question, will you please pronounce your last name?
Yes, my last name is pronounced Klockner, just like the clock on a wall. So Klockner.
Klockner, okay. All right, thank you very much.
You are very welcome.
All right.
Have a good evening.
All right, bye. Okay, YMCA, Miss Liz Allen. All right, that's, okay. Yeah, good evening.
Liz Allen, I'm the Center Executive at the YMCA. With me tonight is Margie Redlin, my board chair. We're coming before you to make a level ask again this year at $50,000. Very proud to say that last year we were able to serve 2,500 unique residents in Lancaster County. 636 of those were children. Many programs, health and wellness, sports. We just wrapped up last month, or actually this month, it seems like so long ago, second grade Learn to Swim. We had 63 kiddos come from the school system. There's no charge to the school for that whatsoever. Living in a county surrounded by water, it's critical that children know how to be safe around the water. And seeing that program the day one and how many children are afraid to go near the pool, and on the last day when they're really excited when they get tipped over in the canoe, it's amazing, and we're very happy to provide that service. But we don't only provide to children, we have adults that are learning to swim at the YMCA. We serve kids 6 months, and then we also serve 99 plus. We actually have an adult that is volunteering with our second grade program who learned to swim at the Y last year. And it's so special to see him in the water working with the kids. A tremendous amount of our efforts are put forth with volunteers, but we also have staff expenses. We do charge minimal rates for some of the programming, but that just covers our supplies and staff. There's no facilities cost factored in any of that. We're a feeder program for a lot of the high school sports. States for swimming, we're in February, and I know a couple of the kiddos that learned to swim at the Y have state records now. So we're really proud to be a part of that. We're proud to be part of volleyball, soccer, youth basketball. So programs are coming back. The past year we were almost at full capacity again with most of the programs, and we have big plans for the summer and the rest of this year.
Okay.
Any questions for me?
Any questions, gents? Okay. You still have scholarships?
Yes. We, last year alone, we served out over $130,000 in reduced rates. So if individuals are unable to pay the fee for soccer or swimming lessons or private swimming lessons, even adult swimming lessons, that's what we raise money for, to pay for that, so they can
Okay.
receive a reduced rate.
All right, good. All right.
Yes, sir.
Any questions, comments? All right.
Thank you, Liz.
Thank you very much.
All right, thank
And
you.
thank you for what you're doing for the children of Lancaster County. And Northumberland is, do they still come over here or they go to Northumberland?
They go to Northumberland.
Northumberland, that's because you have their own Y over there, right?
Yeah. so
Building.
We
yeah.
serve Lancaster, Middlesex has a YMCA, so does Northumberland, Richmond County.
All right,
So our
good.
focus is right here in kids
Okay,
of Lancaster.
good. All right, good. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Mr. Forrester.
I'm
Good on that?
I'm in favor of it.
Oh. Yeah. You can tell where my
was
mind
your
is.
idea.
You're in favor of it?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right, okay, good.
I am.
All right, okay, good. All right, consensus here. All right, Mr. Forrester.
Well, I'm glad I'm in such a jovial crowd tonight. Well, I'm here tonight for the Youth Club of Lancaster County, Dreamfields. I want to thank you for your support over the past few years. I am asking for an increase this year, so we can go through some of that, but just give you a little idea what's going on in Dreamfields this week. If there's a traffic problem in Kilmarnock and you can't find a place to eat, it's probably our fault. We have 27 out of the area teams coming for a pretty large tournament this week, kicking off tomorrow, going through the weekend. Our Little League numbers are up in the area this year. We're having a really good time. If you haven't checked out the record or been to the ballpark and seen what our varsity girls are doing, tremendous start to the season this year. So a lot of awesome things going on. With that, we're seeing increases in just about everything we do, everything we purchase. But our fundraising efforts, you have our Schedule A 2020, and looking at it right now, we're over close to 80% of our funds come from our fundraising efforts that support the ballpark. So this past year, we've done a lot of other activities other than ball, community activities, providing the county with areas for the COVID vaccination clinics, school system utilizing the Hayden building for alternative and virtual assistance and help. And we're still offering that this weekend. There'll be a wedding reception during the tournament. So there's an outcry for our facilities all the time. We have a senior group that meets and walks, and we have an alternate Frisbee league that has started up, and a few other things last year that you may not know. A lot of school ball didn't happen, so we were able to utilize our facilities, and our facilities were home for other counties. They were the home ball fields for several other counties for the Post 241 League, which was a huge success. It was such a good success that we had to renovate our field after the season because literally they played the grass right off of it. Some budget items that are coming up are some HVAC needs and some specialized equipment needs. I had no idea that a infield mower is in the tens of thousands of dollars these days, if you can even find one. And our equipment needs, you know, if someone can't, if there's an individual, ball player that does not have the equipment and needs equipment, you know, it's always provided, you know, no questions asked. We try to raise the money and support kids any way we can. So with that, we are asking for additional funds this year, and I'm happy to answer any questions. Appreciate your support, and we're having fun. Ball season is kicking off, especially this week. And
All right. Any questions, comments, gents?
How did the fundraising go for getting those lights replaced and paid for and all that?
everything worked out extremely well. We've got, for the high school fields, the varsity girls and boys and JV teams utilize them as well. We're off and running. Everything's up and running. We are still continuing fundraising efforts for the additional 3 fields as our lights on those 3 fields.
Because I know there was quite a price tag on those lights.
Correct.
Yeah.
So we still have 3 other fields that we're working on fundraising efforts for those. We have some really good fundraising efforts coming up. we're having a raffle coming up April the 15th. We're having our annual raffle. That's a great fundraiser. We also, the Spanish mackerel tournament is turning into the largest fishing tournament on the Chesapeake Bay. That's impressive. That's right there at Dreamfields, and we bring anglers in from, all over the state. There's anglers from other states that came, fished the tournament, and that was a huge fundraiser for us. A big community event, a lot of community support, and a fun event. And again, bringing people into the county, showcasing what we have for the county, much like this tournament this weekend. This week and this weekend will do for us.
Okay.
So hopefully you're getting some of those dollars back.
Any additional questions,
No,
comments?
I'm good.
Very good.
I was just commenting, I was at girls' ball game last Friday night, and that field is something to be proud of. You all have done a good job with it, so I commend you on that.
Thank you.
All right, gents, what's your feelings on this?
I'm good.
I'm good.
I'm good, okay.
Anything that it requires a ball, I'm gonna vote. It's just who I am.
All right, so we got
Watch
consensus.
Jeannie Nelson come back with balls next time.
All right, got consensus with that, all right. Let me ask you this question. Y'all gonna come back next year, ask for an additional increase?
No, hope not.
Okay, all right, all right. Okay. Northern Neck Soil and Water, Ms. Clark and Brandon. All right, there you go. All right, good. Page 44.
Good evening, gentlemen. It's nice to be back in person and to see your smiling faces.
Thank you, sir.
This is certainly a different atmosphere than we have encountered in past years, and I hope that we can keep that momentum going forward. Mr. Paylor and Mr. Lee, I know you're both familiar with the work of our district. Craig, I know that you are personally familiar. Mr. Smith, I imagine we've got a bit of educating to do to bring you up to speed on who we are and what we do.
I actually know more about you than you think.
All right. I hope he wasn't left a manual under his chair, but we are providing you with a package tonight, a copy of our most recent annual report.
Hold on, who said here?
Dr. Westbrook.
Okay.
In your packets, there's a copy of our most recent annual report and our request letter. We are asking for a level request funding of $15,000. We are proud of the fact that we are now receiving $15,000 from each of the 4 Northern Neck counties that we serve. And we do have in place now a signed MOU with Lancaster County for us to prepare and perform your Chesapeake Bay agricultural assessments as part of your DEQ compliance. So that is a monumental achievement for us as well, that we now have all 4 counties on the same level of playing field, basically. Additional services that we offer, We implement the Virginia Ag Cost Share Program, administering cost share funds to local producers. There's some statistics in our annual report and our request letter. We implement more of an urban, if you will, if you can imagine urban meaning anything that's non-agricultural cost share program, the Virginia Conservation Assistance Program. We do a lot of work with living shorelines in our region. We talked about the Chesapeake Bay Preservation Act. We assist with Ag Stewardship Acts, which are basically any complaints on ag lands. And then, of course, I believe you're all familiar with the household hazardous waste collections that we help you put on. We are now back on a schedule of providing those once in the spring and once in the fall.
Good.
We just wrapped up the event for the spring occurring here on site March 19th. And the preliminary numbers are showing electronic waste that we collected was 10,236 pounds. And household hazardous waste was 17,409 pounds. And we had a total, I'm sorry?
218 vehicles.
218 vehicles,
Okay.
which is one of the highest, yes. Like everyone else, our agency has had to get really creative and adaptive and figure out how to get through the COVID pandemic. The work that we do does require a lot of face-to-face interactions with our citizens of the Northern Neck. It has shown to us some of our limitations as far as space. Many of you may know we're co-located in a USDA service center in Warsaw, and with having our agency, which is a political subdivision of the state with a local elected board, so we are classified as local government. We receive state dollars, and we're housed with a federal agency. So if you throw in a pandemic with very few guidelines, you can imagine the chaos that erupted. So we have tried to figure out a way to best manage and keep our folks safe, still provide our services on a daily basis. We have been able to maintain the office open every day. And we do have a plan moving forward this June. We're actually going to be relocating. Hopefully, things are going to go very smoothly. We're looking to about double our space, which is something that we need to grow our programs. Because right now, even facing an increase in state funding, we would have the inability to hire any new people because we have no place to put them. So we're looking forward to this move. We're just going right across the parking lot. Richmond County Health Department has given up some space. So we are taking advantage of that opportunity to still stay close to USDA because we serve so many of the same producers. But we're looking for an increase in funds from the state, moving to a new location, growing our programs, and working closely with the counties that we serve.
Okay. Any questions, comments? No? All right, thank you very much.
All right,
Okay.
thank you.
Okay, Jess, what's your feeling?
I'm okay.
Okay, we're okay. All right.
Okay.
Broadband Authority, Mrs. Thompson, Mrs. Kaiser, and Mr. Nicholas.
Plus, you have 3 other members of the Broadband Authority here as well.
Okay, okay.
Well, one thing I would like to say about the broadband report, it's one page.
I can have a comment for that, but I'll be nice.
That's
Okay.
Mr. Bean.
Okay.
Yeah.
A lot of it's very self-explanatory. We're going to be addressing a couple of things. As certain things, I will pass it on to other members of the authority who would focus on those things, but I'll just go down this list to begin with. On the legal services, because we're still engaged with Breeze Line on the cable franchise, we have a lawyer who is a specialist in cable franchise who is helping us, and when Breeze Line gives us a copy of their ideas or what they want to do, we send it to this lawyer. And he comes back with all like, nope, this is illegal, no, this is what you need to do, latest laws, so a lot of the legal fees are there. And anything else we may do with agreements, but that is probably the biggest piece right now for legal fees. Professional services, the best we could ever have hoped for. Nicholas Pasquaretti, who is our executive director. This is primarily his salary, and he's worth every penny of it. And I'll stand by that. Advertising, as it comes up, legal notices, the signage for the smart poles, right, Don?
Yes.
Mileage as needed as we go back and forth on VATI grants to Richmond. That's the primary mileage we do, and other activity driving around the county. Conference education, as they come up, we can't say right now which ones we're going to, but they are coming. Since COVID has sort of moved over, there are more opportunities now to actually go, which is why we really didn't go last year, but we have opportunities this year. Office supplies, EDP equipment, these are self-explanatory, and the software. And the last one, are Nicholas and Cherie?
They're both on, I believe.
She's here.
All right, I
Yep,
know Cherie.
I'm here to,
Oh, great. Cherie was going to address, especially if you have questions about the antenna, the tower antenna space and the leasing. If you have any questions, Cherie is well-versed in that one. I heard that. Two things I want to say. One, as you notice, this total is less than half of what we requested last year. A lot of that is because we've been waiting, for Breeze Line and APB, they have to finish all their network design, going out. These are the residents we decided that are unserved, served, where we're going. So we're sort of waiting for their final, although the VATI grant is now, and Breeze Line has not yet started in Lancaster. Of the 4 counties, they have got approval now to all their permits, basically, but they're going to start probably in the next few weeks, hopefully, in Lancaster. They've been working in Matthews and Middlesex. Caroline and Lancaster is the smallest number of homes, is why we're 3rd and 4th. There's some new information we want to share with you, and Gary has the details on that.
Yep. There's the good news, and then there's the bad news. The good news is we have about almost 3,000 residents that previously have not, that are unserved, that will have internet by the end of 2023, if the schedule goes as it should. The bad news, it looks like initially we thought it was 174. We got someone else, one of the Breeze Line, which then narrowed that what was serviceable, because some of the homes were serviceable. People just didn't know they could call and get hooked up, if you will. So we do need to have Breeze Line send mailers or something to these 89 people. But we're now down to 84 homes that were unserved that are currently not served. And what we're doing, we are talking both to Breeze Line and APB, trying to get them to go ahead and cover these homes. We would like to say gratis, but we will see where we have. I just want to alert the county, in general, the last Breeze Line grant, we chipped in roughly $1,200 per household, so that puts us close to $100,000. But we're certainly hoping to get much less than that, if anything at all. But I just wanted to alert people that there may be a capital request to go with a grant. There's a VATI grant also coming out. And it officially starts June 1st, and I believe the paperwork's due in August. So anyway, that's what I mainly wanted you to know, that there may be some capital requests.
All right. Any questions, comments? I guess you made us silent when you start talking about a capital request. All right. Okay. All right, that's it then, I think, gentlemen. What's your favorite?
They brought too many to say no.
I know, yeah, okay.
So nobody's gonna get mad. I run around and say, by December 31st, 2023, everybody's serviceable in Lancaster County.
Except for 80, yeah.
End of 2023 is what, because of the VATI grant on APB, forces them to push it up 8 months.
Yeah, That's good.
You said except for the 89, is it 89?
Well,
84. 84. Where are they?
They're all on the eastern part, so it's going to be in District 1, not District 1, I'm sorry. District 5, 4, and 3. Some are all the way out in white, so at the next POS meeting, I'll have a map.
Okay,
I
all
think
right.
Nicholas may want to say something.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just want to say, the 80 that are not covered, actually, it was 170 something at one point. In theory, they're supposed to be covered by a company called Starry, which won the RDOF grant for that area. They're a fixed wireless company that deals mainly in metropolitan areas, Boston, New York City, Denver, Chicago. Their technology doesn't really lend itself well to the landscape of, rural Virginia. What we're trying to do is, instead of the fixed wireless solution, is also ensure that if this company doesn't perform, we're trying to hedge our bets to make sure that Breezeline or APB, the two wireline type companies are replacing fiber, we'll try to get coverage to them so they can have a fixed line service and not a hard line service, not a fixed wireless service. So, like I said, in theory, everybody should be covered in Lancaster via the VATI grants and the RDOF awards. The 170 that were being covered that were awarded to Starry, of that 170, 90 something is going to be covered by the Breezeline expansion on their own with their own capital funds. And Gary and I are reaching out to them for to make sure that them or APB can service the other 80. We just don't want anybody left behind. So we're trying to make sure that no one's like I said, that we are aware of everybody's going to get covered or not covered, and make sure make plans for that.
Okay.
Hey, Nicholas, was there a second place in that RDOF auction for that area covered by Starlink? Would that second place bidder move into first position now?
Yeah. There was Starlink, which had a very small area, and Starry, and they didn't come under Starry. They went under a different alias or a different company name. But they're both wireless. So we're trying to. And the one thing with the RDOF is they have 10 years to complete construction and 6 years to have substantial, significant completion. So, which is a long time, which is too long for the residents of Lancaster County. So what we're trying to do is try to make sure that they get a hardline service available to them if they so choose, and then it gets to them quicker than 6 years.
So we're not talking about Starlink, though?
No.
Starlink is one of them,
I just,
yeah.
Just want to make sure, that's.
Different company.
Yeah.
And Starlink just raised their prices too.
Yeah.
$800. So.
I think the main thing I was just trying to make sure, if we are here talking to customers, potential customers, that we are telling them the right thing. And because I've been preaching that everything is going to be fixed wire, it's not going to be wireless. But
yeah,
it seems like something is in limbo here, with these 80-some customers.
Yeah, I think what I'm hearing is they got work to do on 84 homes that the Broadband Authority is trying to find a fiber or a wired broadband connection to.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yes.
And that was what Gary alluded to. We might need some capital to do some matching fund with one of the providers to extend it to them, very much like we did with VATI. Hopefully we don't have to, but if, like I said, we want to make sure that everybody gets a wired, a wired service is available to them, and certainly within 2 or 3 years, not 6 years.
Yeah.
But to your point is that the key here is on any of the is to manage expectations too, not to you kind of want to over deliver and under promise. So we want to make sure that we're trying to be very careful with Breezeline and APB that the right message gets out to the right section of people, so that when it starts getting rolled out, they can start seeing service and not be told that they have to wait another year or something like that, or it's not there yet.
And I wouldn't, you said that the capital word, brought you some concern, but we do have ARPA funds that could cover that as well, so.
Okay. All right, good.
Sounds like that might be in the next year or maybe 2 years.
It could be, and, you know, ARPA, we got our first round of money in August of '21. We'll get the second round in August of '22, so.
And the other thing too is originally, like Gary alluded to, or said, was the original matching for value for a breeze line was $1,200 per passing that the county supplied as their matching grant. With the additional homes that so that would be $1,200 total cost per passing to the county. With the additional homes that breeze line has passed, at the same $1,200 or the fixed amount of money that we paid them, instead of $1,200 per passing to the county, it's really, I think it's like, I'm guessing now, but it's around $743 per passing. So because they increased the number of passings and we haven't increased our matching funds, our total cost per passing has dropped to the county as a whole. So we're hoping that we could kind of extend it. If we do have to do some matching funds for the additional 80, we kind of keep it at a minimum or zero. And I just got off the phone with William Newberg from Breeze Line. I had a long conversation with them the other day. And their budget year starts in September, and he's gonna try putting in his budget to reach these 80 homes. He's not sure if, you know, the higher ups, when they see the budget, will approve it, but we're gonna go down that path first, so there's zero cost to the county, hopefully, and then, but if not, then we'll have to figure out what it's gonna be to make sure that these 80 homes get covered.
Okay. And what were you saying, Gary?
Yeah, and initially, the Breeze Line Batty Grant, which is what we also call the 2021 Batty Grant, that was going to cover 193 homes, okay? It was extended to 314 homes. In addition to those 314 homes, there were 173 homes that weren't covered. We went first to Breeze Line. They said, oh, these 89 are serviceable, which means basically they can put a drop down, and we need to make sure that they let the people know, because a lot of people don't even know that they can get the service right outside their house, if you will. There's still 84 that Breeze Line is looking to see what it will take, but they have to do something, whether it's running more cable, fiber, whatever they're going to do. We also went to APB, and if they're running close to there, it's obviously a no-brainer for them. They just drop it or whatever. These are, as I said, they're spread out.
I'm hesitant to give you a microphone.
That's a bad idea, yeah. So, I'm sorry. Okay. The main thing is to try and figure out what's going on. And as I put this up there, as just so you know, there's 84 homes right as of today that we have to figure out how do you get service to, okay? And it may be resolved. We're hoping that's, as Nicholas pointed out, we're hoping that's resolved by someone picking up and saying, we're doing it.
Okay.
And so we should know more in the next couple of weeks.
All right. Okay. Thank you very much.
I got a quick question.
Yes, sir.
I'm just following up on what Bill said. The biggest question I've probably gotten since I've been new to this board is questions on when the service is coming and all. And just backing up what Bill said, I have been telling people into 2023, we're safe to say that with no issue, other than these 80 that we're talking about. Okay.
That is correct.
The only thing that we can see affecting that is this whole supply chain thing.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. Any other comments, questions? All right. Thank you all very much. Thank you.
That's the shortest meeting we've had with you guys.
Okay. Yep. Ms. Cockrell, first of all, gentlemen,
I'm okay with it.
okay? Yep, yeah, okay, good. Consensus here. All right.
I got copies. This one stays on top. It's one page.
Ms. Cockrell, page 45.
This is the top.
I shouldn't have left you to it.
I'm gonna flip them over.
It's all good. It's all good.
I'm following Don's order.
You drink a lot of Mountain Dew.
What's that?
I said, you drink a lot of Mountain Dew.
I do.
Gentlemen, good evening. Thank you for having this opportunity to be in front of you tonight. I am here representing all of the partners of Virginia's River Realm. And first of all, I want to say thank you for the work and the support that the Lancaster Board of Supervisors has given this project since 2015. We're really grateful for it. For Mr. Smith and Mr. Geezy, just a quick 30-second, who in the heck who am I and why am I standing here? Other than my love for Don and the opportunity to be in his presence. Virginia's River Realm is a governmental effort between Lancaster, Town of Kilmarnock, and the County of Middlesex through their EDA to promote our two counties and to do it at a regional level. We started in 2015. We are the big three, as I call it. There are other players have come in, but we represent the tourism industry and the tourism businesses for our two counties. And we're doing everything we can to uplift those particular businesses and to make sure we have more people staying longer, spending more money here in both of our counties. So that's our goal in life, is to, a rising tide floats all boats, but to bring more disposable income into the counties from somewhere else. And hopefully that money stays and those folks maybe visit for a day or a weekend, and perhaps they become homeowners or lifetime residents as well. So I come before you tonight asking for $25,000. That is that has been our request from the beginning. And just to kind of show you briefly what we've been up to, I've got just a couple things to indicate that we've got what I call traction and momentum. Those are two important things to have. Traction is really about the amount of people that are coming to both the website and the social media platforms. And you'll see in that first slide, there's kind of almost a vertical on the number of users coming to the website. So we're almost at 200,000. I'm sure we'll cross that for 2022. We were at 187 for the last calendar year. It's all about marketing. That's effectively what we do. We've reached over 2 million people with our social media campaigns, another million or so with just our own social media presence. And that translates into, and I know this is kind of it's hard on my vision for sure, but ultimately on our website, it translates into people looking at our individual businesses, making calls to them, leaving our website to go to their website. That's all important to get a consumer interested in what we have here and what our businesses have. We spent a lot of last year's marketing effort around what we're calling the 8 Great Small Town campaigns, and that was an effort to showcase each of the individual towns in a variety of ways. Very specifically, we generated a YouTube video. I know I sent you guys an email on that, where Lively is currently running hot and heavy.
Yeah.
It's been shown to 35,000 or more people. Still running. It's going to. If we can sell Lively, we can sell it all, right? We save the best for last. What can I say? Hey, it's the center of the universe. We got the corner. We got Belle Isle State Park. We got peace and quiet. It's good. We don't need them all to be in the metropolis of Kilmarnock. We can share the wealth. But the 8 Great campaign has really been favorably received. I've shown you kind of the YouTube video hits. I've shown you the page activity. We have an individual landing page devoted to each of the towns. We've got 5 great things to do in each town. We wrote a blog post about each town, and we spent $2,000 per town to promote all of that during the course of 2021. We're finishing up here in 2022. We did Saluda January. We're into Lively now. But the great thing is that is evergreen footage that we have. It's not date specific, and we can reuse that, and we plan to reuse it during 2022 and to marry up the small towns with activities that are going on, specifically in those areas later in the year. So it's a great way for us to say, hey, we've got music on the half shell happening in Kilmarnock. Here's something cool to see in Kilmarnock, all the way to our neighbors over in Middlesex as well. We're going to hit up Arts in the Middle for Urbana here in the early part of June and try to give both of those activities some lift. One of the ways we identify whether we're successful or not, and we're not exclusively responsible for these numbers, but we know, again, rising tide helps We know that sales tax is up despite the pandemic, or maybe because of the pandemic, across the board. I know the county sees those funds directly, but as you look at meals tax and lodging tax, which is a direct, particularly lodging, a direct correlation with somebody coming to spend the night and spending hopefully additional disposable income, that has recovered. Meals tax has rebounded very, very nicely from 2020 when the pandemic first hit. So we think that those are the right kinds of indicators to indicate, to show that people are spending money here in the region. So in addition to the 8 great small towns, we are looking ahead to 22 with what we're calling very focused, highly targeted niche marketing. So we have identified these audience personas. So we're trying to get at the group of people who are adventure seekers. So this is our boaters, our people who want to be out on the water, who go hike in our parks, who want that outdoor activity. It's the one segment that we have where we think we can talk directly to men. Women are the decision makers for travel. I know I'm not telling you something you don't already know, but we ladies like to decide those kinds of things. But we think that the adventure, the adrenaline junkie, that's going to appeal to men, and we will speak to men in a more targeted way. Same thing with camaraderie travelers, the family vacationers, and the experience seekers. We have a very definitive plan to reach each of them, and you'll see in the second box below. Not everybody's looking at every piece of social media, right? We don't all are attached to maybe our mail account to get information. But certainly if you're a mom who's planning a multi-generational family getaway, maybe it's a family reunion, you're going to be on most of the social media platforms. If you're a guy looking for fishing, you're probably not counting on your email to tell you how to go do that. You're probably looking at Instagram or maybe TikTok to go get some more information. So we're going to take this to be the next step. And again, it's to get at people. Not everybody in the universe is going to want to come see us, but if we can talk to people who are outdoor lovers, people who want to be out on the water, multi-generational families, we know that's always been a good success story for us, and people who, I call them the bucket listers. That's the folks who say, man, I want to come ride with a waterman. I may not be an oyster lover, but it'd be really cool to see that oyster come out of the water, get shucked right in front of me, and I can say I've done that. I may not eat it raw, but those are the kinds, are also folks who have disposable income. Again, more people staying longer, spending more money is really what we're about. So on behalf of all the colleagues for Virginia's River Realm, thank you so much. It's our pleasure to have everybody on the team, and thank you for your financial support. As I like to say, Don does nothing, I do all the work. You just write the check. He's a great coach and partner, though, because when I call and say, I have a crisis, Don says, okay, I can help. So I thank you very much. If you have questions, please let me know.
Any questions, comments? Okay, thank
All
you
right,
very
thank you so
much.
much.
All right.
Thank you.
All right. Sir?
We good?
All right.
I'm good. I'm good.
We're good. All right. All right. Virtual. Ms. Brent, page 45. Ms. Brent?
Good evening. Is everyone able to hear me?
Yes.
Okay, great. Well, thank you, first off, for giving me the opportunity tonight to present, be it virtually. I am not in sunny Florida like Patrick and Craney, but my kids are also on spring break this week, so I am with them. I want to first thank you on behalf of Virginia Cooperative Extension for the support that we've received in the past. Just a little bit of education for our new board members. We are the outreach arm of our 2 land grant institutions in the state, Virginia Tech and Virginia State University. What makes us unique is that we're both a state and a local partnership. We receive funding from both the state and the local communities that we serve. We work in programs in the areas of 4-H, ag and natural resources, and family consumer sciences. If you look at the budget request for this year, the increase reflects the reinstatement of funds for a position that had been vacant for a time. We had a family and consumer sciences extension agent position that has been vacant for 7 years. I came before the board earlier this fiscal year to request those funds back because the state was willing to put up their share for that position. I'm happy to report that our first round of interviews has been completed for that position, and we're holding our second round in-person interviews tomorrow. And we're very confident that we will have a good candidate for that position. So the only increase is in line item 5699. That is for Lancaster County's portion of salary and benefits for 4 full-time extension agents that serve the county, as well as 1 part-time program assistant who works in the area of horticulture. Just to give you gentlemen an idea of our budget, this amount that we're requesting of $51,333 is 11% of the total cost of our program. The majority of our funds come from the state, just to give you an idea of where our funding comes from. But I'm happy to answer any questions that any of you might have.
Okay, gentlemen, you have any questions, comments? No. Okay, yeah, because I remember you coming before the board and informing us of this. All right, so we have no more questions for that. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. And I'm in favor of this.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Okay, we're good. All right. Because she did talk about that and the position being filled, and now it's filled.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's been a long time since it's had that position filled. Yeah. Okay. Miss Jackie Davis, Bay Consortium. Page 45.
Yep, I'm gonna give them an overview, and if they need more, because I could go on for days with it.
You can explain it much better than I can.
Okay. Well, first I want to thank you for having me tonight. I'm Jackie Davis. I'm the Executive Director for the Bay Consortium Workforce Development Board. I want to first tell you that we are governed by two boards, and this is from a Federal Workforce Act, and it's how it's written in the Workforce Act. So our first board, we call it a consortium, and it's a group of our 16 localities. It's our local elected officials. We have one individual from each locality that we serve that serves on that, and Mr. Gill has been designated for Lancaster County to represent Lancaster County. And then we also have our board, which, because we are a workforce is driven by business, must be the majority business. So the Lancaster representative is Jennifer Bowie from Visiting Angels. What we do, we're one of 14 workforce boards in the state of Virginia. Like I said, we fall under Federal Workforce Act. It's the Workforce Innovation and Opportunity Act. It's a national act. So Virginia has 14 workforce boards. We're one of them. We serve 16 jurisdictions. The workforce boards have the oversight of the state workforce system in the region. And what that means is that we convene all of the state and other workforce partners in the area to make sure that everyone is doing what they're supposed to be doing, and we're not stepping on each other's toes, and it's in a streamlined manner to help make it efficient and effective. We also have oversight of the American Job Centers, and that's the national identifier for our workforce centers in Virginia. They're called Virginia Career Work Centers. We have 3 in our area. Each local workforce development area has to have a comprehensive center. Ours is located in the Fredericksburg region just because it's more heavily populated. For the Northern Neck, we have our Warsaw Center. It's considered an affiliate site, which that means it doesn't have all the components of the comprehensive center, but all the services can still be delivered from there. And and just to let you know, we've redone that center and reopened it in July. We've seen 267 individuals since October when we started tracking individuals coming in, and 31 of those individuals are Lancaster County residents. And these people are coming in to get unemployment insurance assistance. They're coming in to do job search, help with the resume, connecting to training, and other partners within the workforce system. We also have direct oversight of Title I of the Workforce Innovation and Opportunity Act. There's 4 titles to that, and we have direct oversight of the adult dislocated worker, youth, and business, the business piece. And for our, in the Northern Neck and Middle Peninsula, the contract is held by Rappahannock Community College to provide the adult dislocated worker and youth services in our region. Their contract for this year is about $270,000. We have trained 5 individuals from Lancaster County
in total about $17,000. And we have two, and the training is in, we have two for CDL, we have CNA, paramedic, and armed security was one of them. We also, the other part of WIOA is that in state workforce is that we assist both businesses and job seekers. So in the ways that we do that, with businesses, we have a state database that both job seekers and employers can register in. It's called the VAWC or the VWC, just depending on who you speak to. And with that, the job seeker can go in and search for businesses. The business can too go in and search for the talent that they need. So the business can reach out to the talent and the talent can reach out to the business. So it works both ways. And the business, and with this, the business can either do that themselves, or we have state staff that can help them do that, to help navigate through that system. We also help with recruitment, screening, providing labor market information. That labor market information is crucial, trying to figure out your current needs and then also the emerging needs of the business. We also help with rapid response needs, so if we have a business that's closing down, we can help them transition their staff into helping the staff recruit to find different employment, or help them to get into training that they need to transition, to get the skills that they need to get into a new training. Some of the other funding that we have to offset training costs for businesses, we can help businesses with onboarding, with on-the-job training. So what that does, onboarding is a huge cost to employers. So what that does is it offsets some of the salary cost to the business for a certain period of time, and it's capped at a certain amount. We also can come in and help an employer upskill the current staff that they have. I'll give you an example. We have had a couple just recently, West Rock in King William County. They had 50 individuals they wanted to upskill in pneumatics training, because when the facility is shut down, they have, or one piece of the facility is shut down, they have to stop their production to wait for someone to come in to fix it. So they wanted to stop that, so they upskilled 50 of these individuals. It was about a $50,000 cost to upskill these individuals, and we were able to reimburse them $25,000. In Richmond County, we had a small business, a mom and pop, it's Clement's Tent Rentals. They had, there's some type of certification that industry needs in order to do events. And because they were a small business, it was a $400, around $400 training. We were able to reimburse them 90% of that training cost back to them, which is huge for our small businesses. We also work with registered apprenticeship, and we can do some customized training for the employers as well. For the most part, we work with Rappahannock Community College to get in, figure out what the business needs are, and then try to customize training to help meet that business need. That's kind of us in a quick. Yeah, I know it's very confusing because underneath us, we're the board, and we have the convening of all the partners, which we have all of our state workforce partners. That's the Virginia Employment Commission, the Department for Aging and Rehabilitative Services, the community colleges, adult education falls under there. So we have a lot that's underneath of us, and it's very confusing.
Where does your current funding come from?
Our current funding is federal funds, so this is another confusing piece that you'll really love. So it's federally mandated, and it comes down through DOL. It goes to the governor's office. It comes down through the community college system because the governor has designated the community college to be the oversight for all of the workforce boards in Virginia. And then we have to have a grant recipient, and it has to be a locality, and Richmond County is our grant recipient. So then the funding flows to Richmond County and then to us.
So where's our local office in Richmond County?
We are located in Warsaw, yes.
Warsaw, okay.
We had our...
At a community college?
No, we're not at the community college. It's in the same parking lot as Hunan and the Planning District Commission.
How is the communication done so that the businesses know that you all, are here? I mean, I was wondering how these businesses know about coming to you all saying, hey, I need some training, I need help doing this?
So a lot of it, we've done the community college because they have the contract to provide services, done a lot of outreach for us. But for us, and I'll give you this too. I started in 2019, in January of 2019. So half of my time that I've been in my position, it's been during COVID. So prior to that, we've never really done a lot of outreach, and that's something that we need to do. We need to get more into the communities, figure out the businesses, get in and have those discussions with the businesses in the communities. And I'll tell you, during COVID, we had a rapid response grant where we helped help businesses either, could do both, with the extra cleaning, or if they were moving to telework, we helped provide the computers and those types of things. And I worked with Don on that, and we had 2 businesses from Lancaster County that we helped with that grant. But, I rely on the boots on the ground. Mr. Gill is in the county, knows the county, so we try to rely on those folks as well.
So going forward, there's gonna be more outreach.
Yes.
From.
And you see that in your packet. These are we have 2 flyers that we just done this year. The first one is more targeted to businesses. I think that's the one right underneath the sheet that looks like this. It's got the puzzle pieces on it. And that's the one that's directly targeting the businesses. The next one behind that is targeting more of the job seekers, but does still have a little bit of the business aspect to it.
I have a couple questions.
Okay.
First question is that an Apple Watch you have on?
No. No, I'm cheap. It's a Fitbit.
Okay. Second question, do you work with with their technical center?
Yes,
Okay.
we do. We
Right.
actually have a youth council, and Butch sets on that.
Okay, I was gonna ask
Yep.
if Butch was part of that.
And
All
I
right.
just participated in the career fair they had.
So when you mentioned that you also help to set up jobs.
Yes.
Do the businesses have to be part of your workforce association in order to be seen by them, or is
Nope.
it just?
Nope.
It's, okay.
That workforce and the workforce connection in that database, is
Yep,
that what you're saying?
yep.
Nope,
Yep.
if they don't want to register in there, they don't have to be.
Okay.
And we can still help recruit, just as long as they give us the job descriptions and what they're looking for, we can still recruit for them. And we have, with the adult dislocated worker and youth, that's where we train individuals. So if we have individuals coming in and they don't know what they want to do, we can show them not only the VAWC where they have a listing, but we can also show them all these other job descriptions that we have too from other businesses. And something else that we've just started, the businesses are screaming for talent. There's not enough talent out there. So we have just began discussions with Lancaster County, the high school here. We know there are kids that are probably going to graduate high school and go sit on mom's couch or grandma's couch or somebody's couch before they go anywhere. So we want to try to reach those individuals before they ever leave, so that we can either connect them to training or get them into a job.
What kind of jobs are available for them?
There are all kinds you have entry level to professional, just depending on what you're looking for.
In this area?
We have a lot of hospitality in this area. And with Visiting Angels, I know she needs CNAs, and healthcare is a huge need also.
All right. And what percentage of the people that have come through your program, what percentage has been placed?
So I will tell you, the individuals that, for the most part, that leave out of our programs, they already know where they want to go work. When they're coming in for the training, they already know where they want to go to work. And the CDL drivers in particular that we're training now, they have multiple offers. And the same thing with our healthcare workers that we're training.
All right. See a lot in food service?
Not so much in training, but for job openings we do. There's not a lot of training out there for food service.
And you're requesting from us 2,651?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and why are you requesting this?
Well, this is part of the enhance of the outreach, especially specific to the business community. We're in the process now of hiring an individual who their sole duty will be nothing but targeting businesses and making those connections to the businesses and the schools and economic development to try to be that connector in the communities, to try to help bridge bridge the gaps. I mean, people don't even know we're here, don't know what services we provide, you know, as much as just entering their job order into the state workforce system.
So this is part of a salary for a position?
Yes, it'll be part of salary, outreach, and those types of things for a position.
Okay.
We'll have to help with that salary.
Okay. I'm gonna ask you like I asked the rest.
No,
If
you're fine.
if we approve this, coming back next year for an increase?
No, we will not come back for an increase. Unless you want to give it to me, then I'll take whatever you give me.
bet you
I mean, you know, I heard Mr. Gill say ARPA funding, so if you have some left over and you don't know what you want to do with it, I can help you with that.
All right. Any additional
This
questions?
is basically at $2,000, you know.
Yeah.
Basically what I saw is the out portion of this regional.
Yeah,
effort,
yeah.
Yes.
All right, what's your
The
feeling?
only thing I would say is, when I get home, I'll call my son. He's been working for Westport Restaurant for 30-some years. And I think this past shutdown that they have it annually, was
Right.
the worst that they ever had over there. And probably, he never said, you know, but the people, but it's probably, that was the problem with so many people don't retire, the new people don't know how to handle
Right.
the shutdown.
Yeah.
Right.
Because I remember one morning, we was in church, he got a call for him to come to work, and they was in the middle of the shutdown, said something was keeping noise or something like that. He told me, he said, I'm not going. I mean, when you work 15, 16 hours a day for a month, and that's how they have them scheduled when they shut down.
Yeah, wow.
That's for a solid month, no days off.
Wow.
So when I call him, I say, well, you got some help over there, I think.
And actually, Steve Goodall, he's the HR manager at West Rock, sits on our board.
Uh-huh.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
So these ones that you trained in Lancaster on this sheet here, were they ones that came to you requesting that, or were businesses that requested these services and then you matched them up?
Nope, these are individuals that came in that have heard of our services, either from word of mouth or some of the outreach, and come in requesting these services.
Okay.
This is a great organization. I'm gonna say yes, just because I like the folder. It's the nicest folder I've gotten tonight.
But
Okay.
Thank you.
We good?
Yeah, I'm good.
All right, okay, good.
I'm good.
All right, thank you, ma'am.
All right, thank
All
you.
right.
Y'all have a good
Okay.
evening. Thanks.
All righty. Okay, that was the last one on the list for today. All right. Mr. Gill, you got anything else for us?
I do not. Is anybody else online, Glenn? No?
All right.
We'll do it again Thursday night. You have 11 presenters Thursday night at 5 o'clock.
Okay.
Prior to your regular meeting at 7.
Okay.
You probably get some good folders that night as well.
I'm
The
all
boys-
about folders.
The Boys and Girls Club will be here. They always provide a nice folder.
And we have one that we gonna come back to discuss later at the end, after we look at the
Yeah,
budget.
we
Okay.
can do that. Thursday night, you'll have more of these at 5 o'clock. You'll have your school budget public hearing during your 7 o'clock meeting. Now, you will not take any action on the school board budget that night. State code requires you to wait at least 7 days before you take any action. You've previously established April 14th as your date for adoption of a school budget with or without modification. And that has been advertised as required by law at the 10% rate. So, if you choose to do something different in a lower fashion, you're fine. You can always go lower. And then also at that April 14th meeting, we'll have a chance because at 5 o'clock, we'll have a chance to go through the overall county budget, hit some of these ones that you have not talked about, give me some direction on what I'm going to advertise for your public hearing on the overall budget, which will be at your April 28th meeting.
April 28th.
So,
Don, is it okay for me to say something about the public access on the capital improvement?
yeah, I mean, it's all budget, yeah.
Yeah. Public access, we trying to do that, and we really didn't have anything in that capital improvement for it. So Don and myself, we was talking, we think we ought to put $500,000 in there, so we can, get some things rolling, on the places that we looking at.
Yeah.
We gotta do some things, and we can get probably a couple of places up running before summer here anyhow.
Yeah. You know, that completely slipped my mind when we were building the initial version of the capital improvement budget, and I don't know how it did, but it did. And we had a meeting yesterday with the Public Access Committee, and that's what really jogged Bill and I's memory about getting some money, some funding into the capital improvement budget. Several years ago, when we borrowed some money in 2014, the board placed $1.5 million in the capital improvement budget for public access. Now, we're going to seek all available, grant opportunities that we can for public access. And as an example, when we built the Windmill Point public boat ramp, I believe that total expense was around a little over $300,000, and we got a $150,000 grant from the Department of Game and Inland Fisheries at that time. But now that money has dried up. But the committee that you all appointed has some good connections to folks who know a lot about the grants available at both the state and federal level. And so you can be assured that, we'll try for all available grants to assist with these public access improvements.
Okay. There's definitely some good information on that yesterday, coming up with the grants and things like that.
So I assume that extra
Yeah,
500 is going to roll into the.
That will be in the capital improvement budget. That'll be added to it. Yeah, I did not include that in your booklet that you have tonight because I gave to you what the Planning Commission forwarded to you, and that's what they forwarded to you on March 17th. But as Bill and I talked yesterday, we believe that we need to put something in the capital improvement budget for these public access.
Oh, we gotta pay for it.
And
Exactly.
that would get built into the funding request we're talking about later.
Yes.
Barring.
Yeah, because, obviously, if you all choose to approve the funding for the new schools, you're gonna need a new financing for that. There's the digital upgrade, the P25 digital upgrade of the emergency radio system, which is, estimated at $3.2 million. So there's some big ticket items that you're gonna have to seek an additional financing for.
All right, all minds are clear?
You may have answered this question and it went over my head, or I zoned out on it. But do we have a grant writer on staff?
We do not.
When I was on the school board, we hired a grant writer, and it was a time when grants were really available, and it paid off, because that $55,000 salary brought in a ton of money.
The PDC, Planning District Commission, has some folks who are good at grant writing.
Okay.
And I got to credit one of their employees who's no longer with them now for doing the majority of the work on that Department of Game and Inland Fisheries grant.